Welcome back to the show. We have a lunar eclipse coming up later this week. And what's the best way to view it? Well, our next guest has the answer. Gary Boyle joins us. He is known as the backyard astronomer. Gary, welcome to the show. Great to have you here. And is it always exciting for you, a lunar eclipse?
Anytime looking up in the nighttime sky is always exciting. Look at an eclipse at the Milky Way here in the countryside, planets. It's been entertainment for thousands of years.
Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from because, I'm very grateful and fortunate we have a cottage. And, out in cottage country to see the stars and to see shooting stars and it's just absolutely magical. Tell us, what exactly is a lunar eclipse, Gary?
A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon passes in the Earth's shadow. As the moon goes around the Earth every month, it misses the shadow either above or below the shadow. But 2 or 3 times a year, it passes right into the shadow of the Earth. And also, when it crosses in front of the sun, we get a solar eclipse. But we will not see that this time. We'll get the beautiful lunar eclipse on the morning of November 19th, starting at 2:18 a.m. So it's a pretty late start.
So maybe take a little bit of a nap, wake up and enjoy it, and then come back to it. When it comes to a solar eclipse, growing up, I remember going to school and we used to, make those little glasses or binoculars you could look through. Is a lunar eclipse dangerous to look at?
Oh, definitely not. This month is the full beaver moon, and it's just a full moon. We're moving to the shadow, turning that beautiful copper orange color. Safe to look at, wonderful to photograph. Your cell phones might work, but it's best with the DSLR cameras such as the Nikons and Canons. And remember, pixels are free, unlike the early days when I used to go through 2 rolls of 36 roll of film just to hopefully hope I caught something. So here people can play with settings on their cameras and just get that moment in time that they'll cherish forever.
You mentioned the orange moon itself, known as the blood moon. Tell me a little bit about the blood moon and kind of maybe some of the past superstition when it comes to the blood moon.
Well, it's called the blood moon for obvious reasons. The moon turns very dark and really depends how much light is coming through Earth's atmosphere to project onto the lunar surface, sometimes darker, sometimes lighter. But at times when it was really dark, it did look like blood. People thought a war would be upon them, the torches of enemies. But we now know, astronomy, various ephemeris, that we can time eclipses for the next hundreds of years to the second, know what part of the country will see an eclipse such as this one. Canada will see the entire event, depending on your time zone, of course. And the next time, if it is cloudy on Friday morning, the next chance that we'll see here in Ontario is on May 16th of 2016, another total lunar eclipse. And that one will be total. This one is called a partial, but it's so close to total, where only 3% of the moon is actually in sunlight.
What other things, on any given night should we look for in the night sky?
Well, we still have 3 of the bright planets out there. If you look in the western sky right after sunset, we have Venus. Looking toward the southwest, we have brilliant Jupiter, and just to the right of Jupiter, about 5 inches at arm's length, is the planet Saturn. So there we have 3 planets, and the 5 wandering planets, including Mercury and Mars, with the sun and the moon, gives us our 7 days of the week.
What resources are available out there? Because I know when I look at the night sky, there's some things that I can depict, of course, just because of, either research I've done myself or just learning, going through school or talking to people like yourself. What resources are available out there so that we, can figure out what exactly we're looking at?
Well, your cell phone is very, very versatile nowadays. There are many great apps on the phone. On the Apple phone, such as I have, I recommend Sky Guide.
Okay.
It's only about $4. It shows you what's in the sky, information about it, and go far back in time and in the future. It's just a wonderful resource. Of course, there's my website, wondersofastronomy.com, which I will have the timetable of the eclipse. It ends at 5:47 a.m. and then it's breakfast. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Astronomy Educator. I love to teach.
Gary, I know you were bestowed a great honor. Tell me a little bit about that honor.
Yes, right over here is is an asteroid named after me. It's 22406 Gary Boyle. And with my decades of teaching astronomy, being in social media, schools, campgrounds, I just love to teach. It's just a passion of mine for decades, really. So for the past 30 years, I've been doing that, and the International Astronomical Union has bestowed me with the great honor of naming this asteroid. It's not something that I really discovered, but it's like an award that you get the Grammys or the Emmys, but anyone can really get. Even TV hosts can get an asteroid.
Nice. Okay, there's hope for me. Gary, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Derek. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, you too. Gary did mention how much he loves educating people. Our next guest is one of those people as well. He loves educating people in particular through art. We'll tell you about his new book coming up right after this.